guys, it's Lisa from A Bag Lady Journals, and today for Flip Through Friday, hosted by the lovely Gwen at Gwen the Trash Witch, I am sharing with you my Junk Journal July for 2026. It's the first time I've participated in any kind of art journal or junk journal prompt, especially like every day for a month. So I finished it on the 31st, so I was quite happy with that. And anyways, yeah, so let's get started. I'd love to share with you. And again, this was just made, the journal itself was made from a shopping bag, and then the inside was made mainly from construction paper that was gifted to me. And I still have some stash left. So, okay, let's take a look. Now, I did show you a few of these, but we'll just start from the beginning. I just made a note to myself, like, why did I join this? And what did I think about it? Or, you know, what was sort of challenged me to do it. And I think it was just I wanted to exercise my brain. So I just kind of made a note of that here. And let's start with the first prompt, which is analog. And I have basically shared just about everything you can think of that is analog. And it is sort of comprised of sounds and gadgets. So cameras, like handheld cameras, clicking, telephones with cords, and even like a paintbrush, because even art can be digital now. And so, you know, the old paintbrush that you hold in your hand, I shouldn't say old, but, well, my paintbrushes are old, but even paintbrushes are like a form of analog now. Typewriters, yeah, so I just kind of made a note here. Postage stamps, envelopes, letters, newspapers, vinyl, record players. Yeah, so I think I covered just about everything, and I just made a note: touch, type, crinkle, click, print, and ring. Those are some of the sounds. Nature is our second prompt, and here I did the drawing of a starling, and I was interested in that. I had seen the movie with Melissa McCarthy, and we had just recently, my husband had saved a baby starling. He didn't know it was a starling when he brought it home, but when the baby sort of grew a bit, we saw the little spots coming on, and he looked it up, and indeed it was a baby starling. And he nurtured him back to independence, and he flew away, and I hope he found his family. And there's the myrrh. Had to have the little starling myrrh in there. So that's nature. The next one is present, and basically I just kind of took the concept of present as an actual present that you open, and then there's the gift of time, and then clocks falling out of a box here. So time being the present itself. And then I just kind of going on the concept of time, you know, the gift of time, running out of time, keeping time, tides of time, missing time. So all of that being, I think, related to present, as in present tense, or present as in a gift. Wax seal is the next one, and I believe, oh yeah, I did it here. I didn't have a wax seal, so I used candle wax. I made this little envelope out of wrapping paper, and I put a little note inside for myself, and then sealed it. And here I wrote a letter to my past self, just about learning about boundaries, about being too forgiving and too trusting, and about what I've learned. And then inside is a note that's very specific about some of these things. Okay, what do we got next? Crossword puzzle. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory that these pieces here are actually from an old crossword book that I had bought for a long flight. So I still had pages left, and I thought, okay, these are the keyword pages where they kind of show you where the answer page. Okay, so that's crossword. Next one is journey. Here's journey on this side. And I know that I explained this in my last video, but I decided to go with journey as forward and journey as backward, and in time. So the journey is like a time wheel, and we start with, we go with spring, summer, fall, winter, and we just kind of continue our journey through the seasons. And sometimes you visit the past and you go backward, and you start with fall and you go winter, fall, summer, spring. So kind of what's behind you, and journey forward is what things that are to come. So it's kind of more of like a symbolic wheel of time for journey. Next is roots. There's my roots. As above, so below. The beautiful tree. It's fairly simple. What next? Emptiness. Emptiness, I cut the woman out, and she's got, the heart is just an outline, so it's also empty. And then I just did some journaling. Emptiness, that was sort of a challenge. Yes. Next we've got coin. Here's coin. I'm always finding dimes in my house. I don't know about you guys, but so I just kind of used the dime as the theme, and I did some drawings of the dime. And this is from something that I bought. I don't know what it was for. Oh, I think it's from a shopping bag that I had bought from the pharmacy. And this tag came with it, and I thought, well, isn't that fitting? Because with coins, we shop, we reuse, and we reuse our coins, and we repeat shopping. So it's just sort of a cycle as well. And that fits right in this little plastic holder that also came from some product that I bought. I don't remember what. So that is coin. Then we have food. Well, here we go. This lady is enjoying some cake, and she's loving it. And I painted that with just like craft paint, not my good acrylic paint, but craft paint. And actually the paper takes that kind of paint quite well. So that was fun. Patterns, here's my patterns. This is just from a craft book, and we got a tartan pattern, and then we just have like this diamond pattern. We've got we got floral pattern and then animal print. And then I just made a little note: patterns of behavior exist in humans, but they're not always so easy to see. Isn't that true? We see these patterns, but we don't see our own patterns or other people's patterns. Not a visual process. Okay, music. Now, I think I skipped a few pages here. Let's see. Here's on my music. A lovely image from my art magazine, and it is by Thomas Hart Breton, who was born in 1889 and died in 1975. And it's a lovely sort of tempera. It says tempera, which is kind of like a watercolor. And then I just decided to do up some notes. This is not something that I do. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I decided just to do it in ink and let it be. If I made mistakes or it got messy, I had to accept that. Music makes the world go round. I do believe that. Okay, what is next, guys? Swatches. Okay, so my swatches are here, and I took the silhouette from the emptiness prompt, the girl, and then I just covered her with some what looks like fabric. It is fabric, some of it, and so it essentially is fabric swatches. and then 1 paper swatch, which are her skirt, and then her little petticoat underneath. So that's my swatches, and then I also did some crayon swatches. Okay, now gratitude. So gratitude is here. Just a big thank you and some journals, some journaling. All the good things I enjoy every day. You know what you are. Okay, so that's gratitude. Shape. Kind of turned into sort of a woman's figure in a way, but I think that's kind of an interesting shape. And then teardrop shape, and then just little like snowflake almost shape, circles. So very soft. Highlight. That's going to be up here, I think. Here we go. Highlight. I just did my highlighters, and then I did some journaling. Some words and phrases are more important than the rest, and deserve to be highlighted as a signal of that importance. Sometimes, though, it is simply important and delightful to add bold colors to our pages for no other reason than a rainbow is required to brighten my day. Okay, so that was highlight. Envelope. You know, because I started to kind of go out of order. Oh, here's my envelope. This is just a little, I cut an envelope I cut in half, and yeah, I had painted this quite a number of years ago, and I just had it sitting in my stash, so that was good. And then I thought this was appropriate. This came with, this is a little part of the free download that Creativity and Coffee, who hosted this Junk Journal July. She provided this printable, and and part of it was that little bit that you see in the envelope. Okay, 18, collage. So now we're getting to July 18th. I actually like this. I like how this turned out. I collaged, and then I saw Lori June at Sarcastically 60, and she did a challenge on this very day to write a ransom. And she was showing us some of her ransoms and like a ransom note. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do that on top of my collage. Meet me in my dreams is my ransom note. And then this little tea bag is quite pretty. Tea bag. Okay, so that's that one. Sticky notes, July 19th. Sticky notes, I think that's towards the back. And I did some of my old sticky notes that have been kind of sitting around, and that I wrote little notes for an art piece that I was working on, or a painting, and they were still just kind of by my paints. And I thought, you know what, I'd like to put sticky notes that I've already used inside a journal, just because it reminds me of what I was working on, what I was doing at the time, or whatever. So yeah, this was already on here. I added these little guys here before we did the sticky note page, but I think we can pretend that's a sticky note. And the Frida Kahlo sticky notes. So that is sticky note. Nothing, you know, super fabulous or anything. Okay. Lyrics. Okay, lyrics. I had forgotten to do this one, and so I had to come back and do it later. What I did is I wrote a verse from a song called Shape of Love, and it's by May Moore, and it's from an album from 1992. It's probably not a big album that many people have heard of, but I decided to choose this song because it's a CD that I do put on every once in a while, and it is a signed copy. It has a signed insert by May Moore, and I was with my daughter. My daughter was just about, I think 7 months old, 8 months old, and we had gone in to see May Moore. She was doing a presentation at the, what used to be called the I think it was the HMV record store back in the day. So it was 1993 in the spring. And I had never heard of May Moore, but some friends of mine had said, hey, we're going to check out May Moore. She's got great music. Do you want to come with us? So, so I went with them. And what a nice lady. She was really, really, she wrote a really nice note in the CD, and the actual entire album is just beautiful. So I'll just read this song lyric for you, and then I'm going to show you something. When we talk about CDs, I want to show you this little thing. It's a little extra bonus share. Diamonds and Valentines, a permanent tattoo. Tokens of trust, affections of two. Our ever-widening circle we have become. Who knows what happens, where our stormy weather comes from. And I tried to write it the way it's written inside the insert. So that's why the writing is kind of, it still kind of looks like my writing, which is weird, but it looks a little bit like the writing in. I'll show you. So yeah, when I went trying to decide on a song, I grabbed this, and this is something that I made, and I didn't really do a great job of it because it just was an idea that I came up with. So this is an original. This is a Lisa paper bag journal original. So bearing that in mind, you'll see some imperfections here. But what I did is I had unpacked, when we moved, I had unpacked my CDs, and what I ended up with were a bunch of, these ones did not have, they were inserted in broken plastic, but the actual discs were in a travel thing. So I thought to myself, well, what am I keeping all these plastic cracked CD discs or containers for, right? They're just taking up space, and they're kind of annoying, you know, when you open them and they're broken already, you can't close them. So I took out all the inserts, and I did not have, I wanted to bind them, and I thought this was the simplest way with the rings. However, I didn't have, I had to do the hand punch. So I would recommend, if you were going to do something like this, just get one of those punches that have a uniform, measurement of the space for the two, and then they're all the same. So this is a little bit wonky, but what you'll see, and I find it very interesting, is what I can do now is I can actually flip through these inserts and have a look at them. And some of them are absolutely gorgeous. Like this one, for example, is really beautiful, beautiful art. And even inside, and it's got all the lyrics and images. And so I love this because, as much as, I don't look through it very often, but it's certainly a lot better than having it tucked away inside a plastic box, and you just don't tend to pull it out. So here you can see everything. Love this image of the dice. So we'll just do like a really quick little, so this one's nice. It's mostly lyrics. And then like this, some of them I'd have to open again I would have to undo, which I can, and then it folds out. So here's the album that I took my lyric from for my junk journal July. And this is the CD that I bought in 1993 with my baby on my hip. And she wrote, Lisa, thank you. Oh, see, I'd have to open it. Let me open it. Just like that, and like that. Let's pull it out. Let's pull this baby out. So this is the tricky part, right? Like you do have to, you have to put it in folded, but it's nice to be able to unfold it. Lisa, thanks for bringing some light into here, May Moore. She was referring to my little girl, so that was just so sweet. And such a good memory, really a good memory. So you can see here's Shape of Love. Oh, sorry. Can you see? The writing is very interesting. The text that she chose here. It's quite pretty. It's hard to read, but it's very pretty. And then, yeah, just lovely, lovely images again. You know, so it's nice to, oh, let's get this the right way. No, that's not right. Anyway, I can put that away after. I think it's like this. Yeah, it's like that. I just wanted to share that with you because it's kind of a nice way to have, it's like making a journal out of your CD collection, which, you know, is kind of fun. Not that we really read lyrics anymore, not really, but so some of these, see, they're very, this was all that came, just the list of the songs and then this stuff. And so, you know, some of them are far better than others. And this one's another signed one. Pierce's. It's like a little known sister group. And we saw them, they backed up Coldplay many years ago. And my husband and I saw that and we decided to get the CD. And I think I have a picture of him with the girls. He was quite pleased with himself. Yeah, so what's another good one? Elvis Costello. This one's interesting because if you were to open this, it's a big, the inside, this is a poster. It's an entire poster of him that you could hang on your wall. So that's kind of cool. I had to sacrifice it, I guess, to put it in here, but that's okay. I was never going to hang that on my wall, so. And then here, this is a nice one too. This is Blue Rodeo. Love this centerpiece. Yeah, not much here. I just have this left. I think some piece might have been missing from it. Van Morrison. You can see that I'm a Dave Matthews fan, or I used to be. I still am, but I've kind of outgrown. This is actually a really nice, oh, see, you see what I mean? This is how I wrecked it, but anyway. This one is a really nice insert. Some really gorgeous images in here. And that was his solo album. So we're going off on a music side note here. I hope this isn't boring. If it is, you can fast forward. But yeah, lovely images. What else have I got? John Mayer. Still love this album. I really find it to be timeless. Stealing Beauty from the movie, the soundtrack. This got scrunched, it got wrecked. But that's kind of neat. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was kind of a nice way to honor my music collection. And this is only like a small part of it, right? These are just the ones that had broken cases. So that was my song lyric choice, and now you know what the story is behind that. Now I'm going to speed up here because I'm taking too much time. Okay, next is playing cards. Playing cards. Yeah, that's over here. This page, just this page is the playing cards. Love this image. It's just from a magazine. I think it was an ad, and then I added the playing card. Okay, what else now? Textures. Yes, texture. Here's my texture. I think I showed this to you guys. Well, if you saw the last video, I just did some like thick prime and then did pushed the stencil on top and then scratched into it. So that's kind of fun. Tea. I think what I did with this one was I did tea and books. And I made up the names of the books. Well, some of them are the names of my books. I'm a published author as well. So, but I also made up a couple. One book that I was reading, Tea and Honesty, is just a title I made up. And I kind of like it, actually. I might use it. I might use it. But yeah, so there's my tea page. It's just pen, ink. That's it. Nothing going on, nothing else going on there. Everyday Life. Ooh, Everyday Life, I had fun with this one. I just doodled. And I just thought, you know what do I do every day? What do we do every day? And here's my everyday life. I've got, you know, the shower. I've got the breakfast. I've got laundry hanging. I've got, what is that? Oh, the dog. Oh yeah, we were dog sitting. I've got a paintbrush, but it looks like the brush is doing something to the dog, but they're not related. I've got candles, music, my flip-flops, I've got wine, I've got the moon, because I always look for the moon at night, and my little kitchen, right here, my little kitchen. So that is every day. That was kind of fun, I like that. It's called Everyday Life, actually, so yeah. Okay, July 25th, typewriter. Where's my typewriter? Oh, did I do it? No, I don't know. I think I did. Yes, here it is. Here's my typewriter page. So I had these die cut things that I had bought before I even started this journal. So those worked well. And then I just thought, okay, what do we used to use typewriters for? Essays, letters, poems, and novels. My first typewriter for college, a gift from mom and dad. This was, I just kind of tried to draw what I remembered my typewriter kind of looking like in the year. So that was kind of fun. Typewriter, flip card, July 26th, flip card is here. And this was an old card that was given to me by someone. I just painted on the back. It's like a long, very, very old. So I thought this would be nice to use, and it just flips. I could write on this if I wanted. Okay, flip card, journal charm. Okay, this is fun. I found this when I was at a walk. After we were on the beach, we were on the road, and I found this squished bottle cap, completely rusted, and I loved it. So I kept it I didn't know what, I had it for a long time, and I tried imprinting it with paint, and that didn't really work great. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use that for my charm, and I just added some little brads that are pieces that I don't use anymore, or haven't. They don't work. They're just, and then this is a little piece from a bracelet that I used to have that broke. So yeah, there's that. And then some little girls came to my door, and they made these little charms. And one already fell off. It was a ladybug, but I bought a couple of charms and some stuff from them. They were so cute. And I'm like, keep the change, girls. They were so happy. So yeah, I had to add had to add the little kitty cat. Okay, so journal charm. Okay, July 28th, we're getting to the end, and this is frame. This is frame. Okay, so this is my frame. I decided to make a frame of the spade and use this adjacent page. And what I did was took 2 images of my husband and I. This is when we were, I think I was 18 here, so he was 19, 19. And this was actually at my brother's wedding, and I was the bridesmaid, and I still remember how upset I was with my hair. I was devastated. I thought my hair was so ugly and old-fashioned. I was just having a crisis. Anyway, okay, so it was a January wedding, just kind of dismal month, if you ask me, and the dress was, ugh. Anyway. And so here we are. It's actually amazing that he was able to come to the wedding, because he was playing hockey on the island, and so he must have had some time, or yeah, he got away. I guess the schedule worked, because January would be a crazy month for hockey. And here we are at my daughter's wedding in 2017. So I don't even want to figure out how many years later that is, but I liked having these pictures together. This picture was just kind of sitting in a box, and I was doing some albums in July with some old photos that I had never put in albums before. And there were so many, and I thought, I just can't leave this. It's not really fair to my kids. I can't just leave this mess. So I started organizing photos, and I thought, oh, perfect. You know what? I'll just cut these out. And anyway, I think it turned out cute. So that's frame. So July 28th. July 29th is books. One of my favorite things in the world is books. And here is my books page, which I think goes quite well beside typewriter. But it's all in pencil and a little bit of ink, so it may not come through real well on this video, but I sort of just drew a random shelf and books, and then I just started adding titles of my favorites. So these are all my favorite books that are in my library. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed doing that. That was just kind of more of a doodle kind of thing too. Okay, so we're getting there, guys. July 30th, Celestial. Celestial. Here's my Celestial page. And yeah, I kind of like that. It's just a bunch of moons that I cut out of the palette. This was already here. This is a piece of my paint palette. This was white, this page, but I just painted around the moons, or around the stars, I think. And then I painted over top because that didn't work. And then I used a little white pen to write a journal on top of it. And I wrote, "It was written in the stars with moon dust. Your destiny, my darling." I like that. Written in the stars with moon dust. Okay, we got one more to go, and that is Paper Soul for July 31st. Well, that was a bit of a tricky one. I wasn't sure what to do. I thought about it for quite a while. And here's my Paper Soul. I remembered that my grandma's scrapbook is in my closet, and the paper is very fragile. But so what I did is I thought, you know what? I'll take a page out of her scrapbook, which is falling apart, and glue it in here. So here's her handwriting. April 1st, 1964, June 5th, 1964, and just all sort of what she's been doing. So that's kind of, what's this? Graded my lawnmower. Oh, traded my lawnmower in today for a new one. Oh, what does it say? Got, sure hope it works satisfactorily. That's cute. Turns out my grandma liked to write like me, and she liked to journal. And so that's kind of interesting. And then I took from a photo that I have in a frame, and I just did a little sketch of her on top. Because I do feel like her soul is in this journal. Like part of her is in, you know, in this scrapbook that she made. And so with her image on the front, I think it just kind of added a little. And this is actually her on the beach close to where I live. Like, well, not real far from where I live. So that was one of her favorite places, is going to that beach there. So it's a lovely photo. She's very happy. I didn't draw the face very well, but she was always very happy, and enjoyed being there with her husband. So that is Paper Soul. And now, you guys, we are finished with this long flip through. Thanks for staying with me to the end. And happy August. To be honest, I'm always kind of happy to see July end. It isn't the best month of my life. I've had, seems like when things go wrong, they go wrong in July. However, touch wood, things have been, knock on wood. The last few Julys have been pretty good, so maybe that July curse is gone now. And it was fun. It took my mind off of any of other things to just have this little project. And I wrote a little note at the back, incidentally, just saying, you know, how I felt about it. It's all over now. Truth is, I could continue working on a few pages. It was fun, and I like some of the ideas I came up with, especially Paper Soul, Everyday Life, Texture, and Song Lyrics. So I just kind of made a little, how did I feel? And it's always interesting when you're doing prompts, because they're not your ideas, and you know, some of them you have to think about a little bit longer, and you go through some emotions like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or, you know, oh, I don't know if this is going to turn out. But you know, it always does. It's not really about the single page, it's about the entire book that you made. So thanks so much for joining me, and thanks for staying to the end. We'll see you soon. And check out Gwen at Gwen the Trash Witch for Flip Through Friday, and more people that are flipping through journals. Bye guys, see you soon.